Okay. So this is kind of how I would go about setting up and practicing the Upthrow platform tech chase. The first, start out Falco underneath the platform and put them to like 30%. I don't know the exact numbers, but I would just kind of like over time when you practice this, just try it at different percents to learn different timings, uh, and just kind of get a feel for it. Just like say you practice it today and you do it at 30%, you practice tomorrow, you do it at 40%, and like you practice the next day, you do it at 35%. Just kind of play around with those numbers as you work on it over time, just to add variety and just, make sure that the second the time or the percent's off, it changes the timing and everything falls apart. And so first thing I would do is one, think about how complex this is. So when you're upthrowing Falco, they can do, a plethora of DI to mix up where they land, causing you to kind of like have to shift your position on where you land the up air. And they could even DI off the platform. And I think for right now, DIing off the platform and covering their DI is just like a little too much to do, and it's just like overall overwhelming and just causes kind of bad practice. So what I would do is simplify it down to just turn off DI, uh, and honestly, I would start out with um, just even simplifying the tech. So just you have the exact timing you want for up throw up air, because if you do it too fast, you'll hit. If you do it too slow, you'll miss. If you do it like a weird in between, you only get second hit, which isn't the worst, but isn't the best. So doing this and just getting a feel for the timing of up throw, up air on platform, on tech in place at 30%, just so it kind of like gets into your intuition. And then if you really want to be thorough, you can also do mistech. Make sure you got the timing for both, just because there is like a window where you can hit both at the same time, and you just want to make sure you're hitting that window. Uh, and then once you're kind of comfortable with that and have the timing down, you can uh, break it down more so where there's only three options. One, you hit them for tech in place or mistech, or two, they roll to the right, or three, they roll to the left. So just making sure you have this down and you have like timing to do it. Just making sure this is in your muscle memory, so when you do react, there's no like, I guess, delay. You just tell your body, dash right, and that should cover it, or dash left. And then, yeah, just making sure to do it for both sides. There we go. And yeah, just making sure to like really break it down, do one thing at a time, and master each piece before you're forcing yourself to start reacting to it. And then, once you do have each of those down, maybe like spending 30 minutes practicing each one, or like in total, like each one, um or like however long you want to spend on it, just to make sure like your body can't mess it up. And then once you get to this part, then you can start focusing on reacting and just like look for that leg split. And once that leg split happens or doesn't happen, just kind of reacting accordingly. And then yeah, just working on this and getting more and more comfortable. And then various days doing different percents, so the timing's different, and just add enough variation that in a game there's not going to be a situation that arises that's slightly different, and like it just kind of breaks your brain. um and then once you get that down, I think instead of doing random DI, you could do slight DI random, just to make sure Falco still is on the platform. And this will allow you to kind of, like, DI sucks. They're like a better. Okay, where's random put them? Okay, yeah, depending on the percent, you can just do random. But yeah, then you have that to worry about, which I wouldn't worry about covering right away. I would wait until you're very comfortable with every other part, and then once you like are for sure just good on that with like the slight random DI. Yeah. Yeah, making sure you're good with this. Then you can start adding complexity of like full random DI and even if you want like setting up what is it? Where's survival DI for you? Yeah, perfect. So setting this up, like the up air in that spot, and just kind of doing the same thing. And just, yeah, really grinding it out, really breaking it down piece by piece, making sure everything as a single part you feel comfortable with. And then once you feel comfortable with that, then start adding the complexity of combining them all together and reacting to it. If you start out doing the whole thing at once, what happens is one, you may get overwhelmed and just feel like I can't do this. It's too hard. It's yeah, and just kind of give up on it. Or two, you learn it in a very specific way. Like, um, I don't know, say you're doing it random DI at this exact position only, and you only know it from this at 30% with random DI. And then suddenly Falco's at 45% and right here, and everything falls apart. At least like from the practice you've been doing, and it feels like everything you were working on was almost like pointless. And yeah, I think the biggest thing to take away from this is one, break down your what you're working on to as simple components as possible. And by doing this, it allows you to um, be okay with slight variations when it within a match. Uh, you won't like crumble the second something's weird. And the other thing is layer on complexity over time. Just because yeah, you don't want to overwhelm yourself and you don't want to do a very complex and specific solution that doesn't work 80% of the time. And I think if you can get those down and apply those to everything else, it should become a lot more comfortable with breaking down some sort of situation and practicing it.